With our heroes gathered together in preparation for Xicor's revival, we gear ourselves up for what is going to be the battle of all battles, with our heroes all on the same page, fighting for the same cause. They await Xicor's return, as Dragon Ball AF never followed through by continuing its story after Dragon Ball AF manga chapter number 4, in which you can find all of the previous Dragon Ball AF manga chapters down in the description box below. But for the first time, we are going to be taking a look at the original rough draft for Dragon Ball AF manga chapter number 5, which brings us along and shows us what happens when Xicor exits the Z Sword for the very first time. As once more, before we begin, if you are new to this channel and of course love Dragon Ball and anime, then don't forget to go ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single upload. And if you guys just so happen to love Dragon Ball and anime, then be sure to go ahead and slap a like down below. And if you guys want to go ahead and read up on more Dragon Ball fan-made mangas created by the community for the community, then be sure to go ahead and click the description box down below and check out all of your favorite Dragon Ball fan mangas located down in the description for the Dragon Ball fan manga playlist, as we kick off the original rough draft for Dragon Ball AF manga chapter number 5, with Xicor having to be shown being freed from the Z Sword as Trunks, Vegeta, Krillin, everyone looks on, with Xicor having to be enraged at the fact that he was kept within the Z Sword for such a short time. But even then, as Krillin begins to speak to Trunks, immediately as it happens, Vegeta gets in the face of Xicor. And what I find very fascinating about this is, according to the previous manga chapter, in manga chapter number 4, Vegeta had been specifically training and preparing for Xicor's inevitable arrival for 5 years within the time chamber / gravity room, as of course Vegeta has been doing everything he could in his ability to get stronger up until the point of Xicor's resurrection. But even as we see Vegeta begin to speak to Xicor, clearly there's also a height difference between the two. It looks like Vegeta isn't concerned with Xicor in the least, because from what it looks like with the information having to be gathered, Xicor seems like he's about to destroy the entire planet out of pure frustration. But Vegeta quickly transforms into a Super Saiyan 1, as he quickly proceeds to combat Xicor. However, the minute Vegeta actually goes against Xicor, Xicor throws a few punches but immediately misses. And with Vegeta having to use the sheer energy behind the force of his pushes, he's beginning to push Xicor back, as Xicor's completely baffled as to how strong Vegeta had gotten within such a short time. And what I really enjoy about this is seeing Toyble's depiction of how Vegeta is holding his own against Xicor without using Super Saiyan 4. As a matter of fact, as Vegeta is shown charging on in, he quickly gets above Xicor as he's blasting him down from the heavens. And with Trunks and Krillin having to desperately move out of the way, this catches Xicor off guard completely. As a matter of fact, Vegeta ends up getting behind Xicor and actually kicking him in the spine, punching him in the face, doing everything he could, because at this point it looks like Vegeta at some capacity is stronger than Xicor at this specific current point in time, which obviously doesn't sit well with Xicor as Vegeta continuously attacks him. So it looks like with Vegeta having to remain in his base Super Saiyan state, it looks like it's enough to give Xicor a good run for his money. However, this doesn't seem to be sitting well with Trunks or Krillin. Why? Because they're beginning to detect that Xicor is either holding something back or has a deeper power within himself that he has not revealed to anybody yet, but instead could be potentially waiting for the perfect moment. As even then, once Vegeta begins to speak to Xicor, there is a clear difference between the two in terms of power, because Xicor doesn't seem to be concerned. Xicor doesn't seem to be worried. Although he is questioning Vegeta's power, Xicor in and of itself begins to smile, begins to laugh. However, Vegeta though isn't taking this lightly, because the first thing Vegeta ends up doing is attacking Xicor right as Xicor's calling his bluff, which of course we notice how Vegeta unleashes a massive energy blast that shakes the entire landscape. But then, as the two continue to fight, at some given point in time during this fight, we notice how Vegeta finally transforms into a Super Saiyan 3. As a matter of fact, this even startles Krillin, because Krillin begins to beg the question as to how Vegeta, or more or less why Vegeta, is using Super Saiyan 3 in comparison to Super Saiyan 4. Now, there is an explanation by Trunks as to why this is, but currently right now there are no full translations that actually give us the details as to what happened, but we do get to notice Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta versus base Xicor, as from what it looks like, Vegeta does have the upper hand. But as quickly as it happens, we notice how Vegeta transitions from base form to Super Saiyan 3 all the way to Super Saiyan 4, as right when Xicor attacks Vegeta, Vegeta blocks as a Super Saiyan 4. But then as the fight continuously progresses, Vegeta jumps from Super Saiyan 4 to base form to Super Saiyan 3, back down to base form to Super Saiyan 4 to Super Saiyan 3, back down to base, and then all the way up to Super Saiyan 4 again. So Vegeta is using 3 different variables here in fighting Xicor, and Krillin is just baffled, as of course we understand there are translations explaining this, but Xicor can't seem to understand why Vegeta is doing this. Of course, this is very reminiscent to Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue and Dragon Ball Super in terms of transitions for stamina and power, and that's what looks to be happening here involving Vegeta and Xicor in this particular battle. But just when you thought you'd be surprised in Vegeta having to transition from base to Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4, it looks like Vegeta also uses an Ultra variation very eerily similar to Broly's legendary Super Saiyan form. Even though it's not the exact same, we notice how Vegeta's muscle stature has increased, the pupils in his eyes are gone, his hair is more spiked up, and he rocks Xicor with such power that we see how Vegeta once again dials it back down as he's switching from form to form. As both Krillin and Trunks are watching this, they're dumbfounded as to how Vegeta is doing this, as of course it's fully explained by Trunks that Vegeta at this point had figured out a way, having to jump in using form after form without breaking stamina or power or even hurting himself when it comes to transitioning from form to form. Now also with that being said, Vegeta had also perfected his power here, being that he's been training for 5 years in better preparation against Xicor, but even as Vegeta is fighting Xicor, Xicor sinisterly enough starts laughing in the background. Now why is he laughing? Because again, everyone notices that Xicor seemingly enough had been holding back this entire time. Although Vegeta had been putting the beats on Xicor, Xicor is not concerned at all, because then he begins to speak to Vegeta as he even opens up to him about his power. Now some of the current translations do go on to state that Xicor had told Vegeta that if this is all he has to offer, then he is truly dead before the fight even began, which of course the initial fight being that Xicor had not been on the offensive for a very specific reason. Why? Because this entire time he had been testing Vegeta to see where he stands. As even then, once Xicor continues to speak to everybody, it looks like Xicor is enraged at the idea that Vegeta at this point had reached a level that far eclipses his previous power when they first fought. However, Xicor at this point promises to show Vegeta the true power of a Saiyan God hybrid. As of course we notice Xicor beginning to transform, he is shaking not just the entire landscape, but the entire planet as well. As initially once Xicor begins to transform, he blows Vegeta away. As a matter of fact, he blows everybody away as his power continuously increases more and more and more, as right now Vegeta notices and is beginning to feel Zycor's true power, as finally he's beginning to acknowledge what this individual is truly capable of. But before Vegeta can even react, Xicor quickly moves on in and blasts Vegeta so tremendously hard that it causes Vegeta to go crashing through the entire landscape before Xicor gets behind him, clutches onto the back of his skull, and then proceeds to slam Vegeta's face into the ground over and over and over again, slamming his face into the dirt time after time after time before picking him up and throwing him up in the sky, to where once again Xicor completely disposes of him. As Vegeta is being helped out by Krillin and Trunks from the crater, we notice how Xicor emerges in a different form. There is electricity around him, his hair is different, he's increased in size. This is Zycor's next evolution, as he not only towers over his opponents, but then he threatens to kill them, as Trunks then goes into Super Saiyan 3. As Trunks prepares to fight against a newly evolved Xicor, out of nowhere Broly comes in and kicking Xicor directly in the face, intervening and causing a halt between Trunks and Xicor. And as Broly touches back down, nobody can seem to believe that Broly had come just to simply save the day, especially Trunks. But as Broly slowly approaches Vegeta, he gets down on one knee, grabs Vegeta by the neck, hoists him up in the air and proceeds to talk to him. Broly at this point not only acknowledges Vegeta, but promises that once this is all said and done, that he will in fact be the one to kill him. And surprisingly enough, as Xicor watches, Broly tosses Vegeta behind him as he also redirects his focus at Xicor, but then, as quickly as it happened, Majub shows up to also assist Broly and Trunks during this time of desperation. And with both Majub and Broly now having to be on the same page, Majub quickly tells Trunks to assist his father, in which Trunks powers down from Super Saiyan 3 back down to base form, as of course we notice how Broly and Majub are about to battle against Xicor, but Xicor here doesn't seem to be concerned. He's actually welcoming everybody and challenging him at once, but then once again, as we see Xicor sticking his hand out, almost as if he's threatening to once again destroy the entire planet, behind him, we notice another individual appear. And as this individual garners the attention of Xicor, once Xicor turns around, he notices a new fusion, the fusion of Tien and Yamcha. And even then, Krillin points this out as he quickly rushes to go on ahead and check up on them. This is the first time that anyone has ever seen a fusion outside of Goten and Trunks and Goku and Vegeta. As even then, this buys enough time for Trunks to take his father away, as of course the new fusion arrives and having to assist Majub and Broly in this battle. Xicor doesn't seem to be concerned at all. As a matter of fact, the fusion jumps on in and Xicor literally one-shots him out of the picture. So that's pretty sad if you ask me, but as soon as Xicor redirects his focus at Majub, that's the initial fight. As a matter of fact, Xicor slapped Tien and Yamcha's fusion so hard that once they actually hit the canyon, they both defused. So that in and of itself was a complete waste. As meanwhile, over back out at the lookout, Dende prepares the Dragon Balls as everyone anticipates the resurrection of Goku. As even then, everyone is preparing this because they know for an absolute fact, even with Broly there, Majub is simply out there to buy time for everyone else to put their energies into the Dragon Balls for Goku to be resurrected, which of course also includes Broly. So as everyone is pouring their energies into the Dragon Balls, we notice how all 7 Super Saiyans are channeling their energies into the spheres, until of course we notice how something at some capacity ends up going wrong. With the Elder Kai having to talk to everybody, it looks like bringing Goku back isn't going to be as easy as everyone anticipated, because as soon as the Elder Kai begins to talk to them, it looks like back within the Ryushin realm, Goku's talking to Omega about something happening on Earth. And Omega looks like he's well aware, as he's beginning to power up, with of course Goku having to follow him, with Omega having to ask for Goku to go on ahead and follow him in this journey. So during this journey of Goku having to come back, it looks like Omega Shenron is the one that's going to guide him in bringing him back to Earth, which of course we notice how later on Shenron actually arrives on Earth. Only then is when the wish is made, and even as the Z Warriors, the Kaioshin, everyone anticipates for the return of Goku, as we notice the dragon actually pop out of the Dragon Balls, everyone does in fact wish for Goku's revival, in which by the end of all of this we finally notice how Goku touches back down on Earth. His gi is different, his power has increased so much so that everyone is so happy that Goku has finally returned, and by no means was this an easy task for them to accomplish, especially getting Broly to side with them during this time of crisis. But as soon as Goku touches back down on Earth, he greets everyone by having to tell them, hey, it's been a long time. As of course everybody gathers around Goku, Pan, Vegeta, Gohan, Chi-Chi, Goten, the Ox King, everyone is absolutely happy to see Goku there once more. But then, as soon as Goku is done greeting with everyone, he notices Vegeta out in the distance, but then, as soon as Goku turns his head and notices Broly, Broly goes on ahead to calmly acknowledge Goku, as Goku laughs in calmly acknowledging Broly. So that in and of itself, I think, is a really cool thing, considering the fact that Broly, the minute he saw Goku, had immediate PTSD, but he took it upon himself to be very, very calm during this situation in not saying anything at all, which of course the manga chapter comes to a close with Goku having to speak to Vegeta and Broly and more or less asking about the situation back down on the ground. Now the manga chapter here does not have a continuation. As a matter of fact, a very special message from Toyble actually was put out, as Toyble himself went on to state, and I quote, Dragon Ball AF has been delayed. I'm sorry. I'm wondering if I should continue on further with the story by making more rough storyboards, or properly finishing inking what I've got so far. Right now, I don't have the time to even do that though. Well, maybe someday. Sincerely by yours truly, Toyble, July 24th, 2014. Now this was the only rough draft that we will ever see following the events of Dragon Ball AF manga chapter number 4, as these were the only official pages for the Dragon Ball AF manga chapter number 5 special. But even then, this also begs the question, whatever happens to Goku in meeting Xicor? How exactly does that fight end up going? Of course, down the pipeline we ultimately understand that Goku does in fact have the ability to transform into a Super Saiyan 5, in which at some given point in time, we also come to the realization that Super Saiyan 4 Goku does lose, but as soon as Goku turns Super Saiyan 5, that's the end of Xicor. And to be perfectly honest, we may never get the official conclusion to Dragon Ball AF down the line, but even so, I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below, being that now we have the team of Majub, Goku, Vegeta, Broly, Goten, Gohan, Trunks, and of course Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha versus Xicor. How exactly do you guys envision this fight going down? If you guys have missed out the previous manga chapters to Dragon Ball AF, manga chapter number 1, manga chapter number 2, 3, and 4, make sure you guys go on ahead and check those videos out down in the description box below. The story of Xicor in Dragon Ball AF may have been halted right now, but this does not mean that the story of Xicor is officially over, because there are various different fan mangas that showcase various different versions of what could be involving Xicor, in which we are going to be featuring on this channel in the coming future. So make sure you guys go on ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon, and of course slapping a big fat like down below if you guys love Dragon Ball AF and appreciate fan mangas as a whole. I really did enjoy this chapter because although everyone has trained for such a long time, it just goes to show the brutality and the level of strength that Xicor possesses that really makes a person think, how in the world is Goku going to be able to overcome such an obstacle? But in the end, we may never know, but down the line that possibility could end up being a reality, but of course only time can tell. So once again everybody, thank you all so much for watching the Dragon Ball AF manga chapter series. I hope you all enjoyed. Tune back in for the next video. Follow me on these social media platforms if you guys have not. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything's going to be located down below, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day everybody. Peace!
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming.
Also follow UnrealEntGaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead! Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god.
The fuck's up, on? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes, but Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Freezer.
Uh-oh.
Prepare to die!